I've seen a pattern of a lot of guys that really struggle once they get to the big leagues with their relationship with their dad. And there's a lot of toxicity that I've seen. And one of the, I guess, like pushbacks from our episode was like, well, what if that's what it takes?
Yeah.
Like, you got to push him. You got to be hard on him. And so it stood out when you were like, no, he asked me. He gave me a choice. He invited me, right? He believed in me. He supported me.
Absolutely. No, I don't think you can force a baseball career. I don't think you can force almost anything in life. I feel like God the Father decides what your purpose is for your life, and you can run from it and you can go with it, but it's going to happen either way. And I feel like, I could have had, if God said, Zach, you're going to be a big leaguer, then there's nothing that could get in the way of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, he instilled that drive into me so that no one else would have to push me. No one else would have to force me. I never had that parent story where, my parent freaked out on the coach because I was playing the wrong position, or, buying 30 different bats for your son because you want him to just hit better. I mean, it's not going to do it, man. Like, at the end of the day, the separator between, the kids who are good at sports in high school or in college and the guys who figure it out and make it to pro sports, it's mentality 100%. It's the sixth tool that you can't teach. And I mean, not necessarily, we can teach it, Joe.
Hey, we'll talk about that.
We're working on it. Yeah, but I'm
that.
saying in terms of having the drive to want to improve, because you see it so much today. It's just, skills and physical tools and all these attributes that, can qualify you to be a pro athlete. But at the end of the day, the guys who really separate are the guys who really want to be out there and who can also handle the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like at a young age, a lot of kids get burnt out with sports because they don't really want to be out there. They're out there because they think their parents want them to be out there, or, it's an avenue for them to, be popular or fit in or to make friends. And it's not about the game. But for me, it was always about the game. I didn't really fit in high school that much. I was kind of an oddball. I mean, I am. I feel like you got to be weird.
Put those glasses on again.
I never tried to be anything different than myself. And, a lot of my friends were all guys on my baseball team because they understood it. And, that was weird. I always remember, I've talked about this a couple times. I always remember my sophomore year of high school, one thing specifically, there was a guy who came in who was talking about career day. And he was talking about all the jobs, in college, after high school, the real world stuff. And he was going through all the stuff, yada, 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 lawyer, doctor, teacher. And we were in an auditorium with my entire graduating class. And he sat there and he said, where are all my professional athletes? And I was the only guy that raised my hand in the whole auditorium. And people laughed at me. Like, I could hear them. And I was like, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
And I raised my hand and I was like, because that's actually what I want to do. And if that's outrageous, then it's outrageous. But that doesn't mean just because it's weird or it doesn't make sense to you guys doesn't mean that it's going to deter me from being honest with myself. Like, I would have lied to myself if I didn't raise my hand.
Right.
And I know for a fact that there were other guys in that room who wanted to be professional athletes and they didn't raise their hand. And I was sitting there going, what are you doing? Like, and they say, like, your dreams and your aspirations should scare other people and make them uncomfortable. You think of like genius, you think of Mozart, you think of Beethoven, misunderstood guys, but they didn't change a note.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't, just because it was unorthodox at the time or it was unheard of at the time, doesn't mean that they switched up on who they were. You got to be original and you got to take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, what do I really want to do? And if that's what you really want to do, then go for it. And I feel like there's so many kids that are scared to go for it because all they hear is it's impossible. 5% of high schoolers go to college and 2% of college kids go to pro ball, and a smaller fraction of pro guys only debut in the big leagues. Like, it's so difficult to get there, and they just see the numbers and they look at the mountain like this, and instead of looking at the step right in front of them. And I feel like if they would just take a look, not at what everyone else was saying, what the world was telling them, we got to take our agency back. Right, Joe?
We can talk about that.
We get to decide what is truth for us. We get to decide what is success and failure for us. And if you let other people tell you what you can and can't do, then
you live a small life.
Yeah.
you're just gonna conform and try to fit in, and you're gonna shoot yourself short. And the world deserves the original you, the you that you want to be, when you were a kid. Whatever you wanted to be, they deserve that version of you. That's why God made you that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't put the desire in your heart for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I had the desire to be a big leaguer for a reason. Did it go the exact way I wanted to? No, it did not. I wanted to be in the league when I was 20.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a perennial all-star by the time I was 25. It didn't work out that way. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
It just works out in a different way.